Welcome, everyone. I'm Chris Gore. This is Film Threat After Dark. And Alan, myself, and others just got out of a screening of Folie, Joker 2. And we'll talk about it. So let's get Alan Ng in here. The DA, Derek Anderson, and Dante James will join us as well. Let's talk about it. Let's go. It's an all Joker episode sponsored by Crocs. Where's I know Alan is here. Where did he go? He's just
Damn you, Alan. How dare you hide from Mr. Gore? Alan.
It's funny, I forget this is a part of the Batman franchise.
Right. You look like a hostage right now with the way your hair.
Because it's dark outside. Half my light comes from sunlight during the regular.
Exactly. Let's bring in the DA, Derek Anderson, who I was hanging out with. How's it going, man?
Yo, it was a night to remember, man. Maybe to forget. What a terrible movie.
What did we do? You know what I did not do? I did not wear Crocs. I did not wear Batman Crocs.
That might have helped the experience out a little bit. At least that would have helped me out because I would have loved seeing you in no Crocs, man.
Oh my God. We should all wear them.
Now I feel like I hate to tell you what I think of the movie.
Oh no, don't say anything.
Okay.
Don't say anything. We'll get into it.
Here's what I don't like about Batman. Batman wears black and gray so he can camouflage into the night. But he makes his sidekick Robin wear bright red and green. Is he trying to get this kid shot? There's been like 4 Robins. Bad guys are like, I don't know where Batman is, but Robin's right there. So
you never know. You never know what's going to happen. We will get to our opinion on this. We are modless at the moment, but I see Aid Ellis 24 caveat ties here. He says I'm double dipping on YouTube. Aid Ellis, hail to all the late night crunchy beavers and itty sniffing rumble ghetto. All right.
Is that what that's called?
Yeah. So, all right. Well, before we talk about the movie, our screening was 100% sold out, including front row. It was nuts. This is at the AMC Burbank 16. And we all got posters. Did you get a poster?
I could have, but I decided not to hold a poster throughout the entire screening. So,
well, I took my poster, walked it back to my car, and then went back to the screening.
Well, I was at the AMC Rolling Hills.
Yeah.
One row was empty, but other than that, it was packed. And yes, they were giving away posters.
Oh, well, we got something out of it. Some bat humor.
Who is that?
I don't know.
So Studio C.
One thing that is telling, I mean, the crowd was packed. And did you notice, Derek, there were people dressed up?
No, I didn't see anybody dressed up.
Oh, I saw quite a few Harley Quinns. There were Harley Quinns there dressed up.
Yeah,
okay, I did see a Harley Quinn leaving. When we left the theaters, I did see a Harley Quinn leaving the theater, but I didn't see a lot of people dressed up. So nice, at least, you got some fans showing some, fandom, always like seeing fans dressing up for these events. That's kind of cool, So yeah, did anybody dress up with you, Alan?
There was a guy in the colors, but I wouldn't call it dressed up. In the orange and the bright red.
Batman never fights crime in neighborhoods that need it. You know what I mean? No, really, man. I mean, I would like to see Batman fight crime in my neighborhood, all right? And I could see him there just, Robin. Yes, Batman. Then we parked the car right here, man.
Our crowd
Awesome.
was, they laughed, but in places where maybe you weren't supposed to. And there was no applause at the end.
Oh,
Which they
here-
will applaud for the weirdest things, but at the end of this movie, it was silence and people got up and left.
here was our applause.
Just like
Man,
that.
and
Just like that.
golf claps. Yeah, at least you got that. Yeah, we didn't get that. We
It
didn't
wasn't
get that.
bigger.
man.
That was bigger.
I'm stalling till I need this humor right now. I need
Oh,
this
yeah.
humor
Oh yeah.
because, well, let's, you know what? Dante will get here when he gets here. Let's do our group review of this film.
Wow, the classics.
Joker Folie early review. Let's just go around quick impressions. Let me start. They did not need to make this movie. I remember the first Joker I saw several times in theaters, was blown away. It was about so much more. It was about mental illness. It was about those who are forgotten in society. It was about class struggle, right? With the Waynes were a part of it, the story, and it was surprising. The whole thing of there's going to be violence when this movie comes out never came to fruition. And obviously, Joker became a huge hit, Oscar noms around all around, and I think blew everyone away. And it was all the influences were great films of the 70s and 80s, right? So I love it. This really didn't need a sequel. That's what I'll say. My first impression was we did not need this movie. There was no, it felt, I went to the bathroom in the middle and it just felt flat. I was talking to someone in the bathroom, oddly, but the movie felt flat. Like there was no momentum driving toward a big finale. The first one was driving toward a big finale. And I just felt like we didn't need this. Alan, what did you think?
Okay. So I've shared a few things about myself. A, I'm a Marvel guy. B, I love musicals. And I kind of like this movie.
No.
I'll say this. Without getting into spoilers, first of all, Batman lore, Joker lore, I don't care. Okay, I like it. But I will say this movie was really boring up until the trial. Once it got to the trial and they really got into the musicals, that's when, for me, the movie kind of picked up. I'll say that it's not, the first part of this movie just is, like, as you say, boring. It just goes on. But for me, it finally picked up momentum when they started getting into much more upbeat songs, and there's some songs there that worked. I like the Carpenter song. That was kind of the one that you see in the trailer, and I will also say that I recognize the fact that this movie will break lore. I'm not going to get into details other than, yeah, I get it. It breaks lore.
The first film did that.
Yeah, and this one definitely breaks lore. And if you are a fan of the Joker, unlike me, and you care about the world and his place in the world, it breaks it. But as a musical, as kind of a tragic story, maybe, or a happy story with a lot of showgirls at the end, this really played on a lot of levels, and I really appreciated this kind of a dark love story. And so I was into it, but I wouldn't say it's great. I wouldn't say that it's not for everybody. It's like Megalopolis. So I was into it, but I wouldn't say it's great. I wouldn't.
Sorry about that.
Is that me?
No, that's me.
Yeah. You know, I kind of liken it to Megalopolis. I appreciate what was going on. I appreciated the storytelling that was being attempted to make. I'd probably give it a 7 out of a 10. But I get it's not for everybody, and I understand the outrage that will come out as a result of this movie.
By the way, shout out to Gary from Nerdrotic in the chat. The YouTube chat is not showing up on StreamYard.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, it's only Rumble. So that's weird. So apologies to folks. For some reason, the chat is not showing up on StreamYard. So I can see it. Anyways, sorry, Derek, what are your initial thoughts?
I hate this movie with a passion, with a burning passion. This is one of the worst experiences in a theater that I've had this year. I cannot express how much I cannot stand this movie. Do not watch this movie if you like the first Joker. There is really no reason to go and watch this. This movie did not need to be made. It took the original Joker character, and like you said, it broke lore by making that first film broke lore. It already broke the lore just by making the movie and giving Joker any kind of a origin story in the first place. So I wasn't tripping off of that. I just wanted to have a good time with the character that I absolutely enjoyed in the first film, which was Arthur Fleck. And they have torpedoed that character. That character is that is the worst transition from one film to another film for an individual character that I have ever seen. Okay. These are the reasons why I'm always, because I knew there were leaks and people had already said, oh, they leaked the ending. We know how this thing ends. The ending is just, it killed me, man. It took everything to keep me in my seat from walking my ass out of the theater. It literally took everything from me because, again, I love that first Joker. I saw that sucker 3 or 4 times in theaters before I had A-list. I was paying full price for that thing. I love that movie. I took my kids to it. I told my friends about it. Go see Joker. This is a phenomenal movie. And I was so interested to see how that thing was going to follow up. And the follow-up is devastating. If you like that character, if you like what they did with Arthur Fleck and his, journey from being Arthur Fleck, this picked on, bullied, guy that had a lot of, mental issues and everything. And you were interested in how he took that and became like this, pseudo anti-hero for the people that had been picked on themselves. It's such a great story. And to go from that to this, I was like,
look, I don't mind the lore breaking because
I don't mind it at all. I just wish
also I see this as a standalone thing, separate from what Gunn is doing, separate from Penguin and the Batman. Although I thought it would be, they could connect it, at some point. Whatever, they're not. So I don't mind that it's a standalone thing, separate from all the DC continuities. It's just a separate thing unto itself. But this sequel did not need to get made. She's not even Harley Quinn, she's Lee Quinzel is her.
Well, that's her name. Harley Quinzel, I think that's her name as the
they said Harley Quinzel in the movie.
But in the credits, if you look, it said Lee Quinzel.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
If you look, I stayed for the credits.
Yeah,
I stayed.
Well, I mean, they actually said in the movie it's Harley.
They did say Harley, yes, right. I mean, look, let's talk about what worked in the film. The performances were fine.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Lady Gaga was very good. I like what's the actor's name? Brendan Gleeson.
Yeah,
is that his name?
Yeah, Brendan Gleeson.
He was great. And Harry Lottie as Harvey Dent was very good as well. But it just, there were times where there were things happening, and is that fantasy or is it not? So there was a lot of blurring the lines of what was the continuity of the story, and then what was in his head, so that was constantly moving back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, to spoil it, it's not this whole story's in his head or her head.
Yeah, it's not the whole story.
Right. There are bits there, the musical numbers clearly are in their head.
Right.
And I think that was one of the problems. I thought it would have been better to have some of the musical numbers playing outside of his head, or actually in the story, not just playing in their heads and he's imagining all of this. I thought it would have been better to have some of that musical stuff actually taking place, and some of it did. Like I think there was at the very beginning with the guard singing, and then Joker starts to sing a couple of times. I thought that some of that stuff was, and then I guess the escape scene. When they escape from the prison. I thought that was fine. Like some of the scenes, I enjoyed those. The biggest problem I have is just what they did with the character of Joker. But just again, speaking on things that I did like, I guess it was well shot. There's so little that I liked about this. So yeah, that's about it. A couple of scenes. I did like the very end at the courtroom. The explosion and he's wandering around trying to find out where he's at, what's going on. And then this guy just rolls up in a Joker, in like full Joker garb, in full regalia. It just kind of snatches him and drags him and puts him in a car and say, "Yeah, man, we got Arthur Fleck." Like it kind of brought a smile to my face.
That event may or may not have happened if you haven't seen the movie.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were in spoiler territory. My bad.
We'll try to go mostly spoiler free for this review.
I mean, Wednesday we can get into it, or
we
Friday.
will get into deep spoilers later this week.
Forget everything. Look, you didn't hear me say nothing.
Yeah,
just forget everything.
There might have been one of those, maybe not. I mean, I did like the music. I even like the score. I like the look and the feel of it. I like the way the character. I like the way the relationship between Joker and Harley Quinn played out. Again, I have to qualify by saying that it breaks lore. But if you were to remove just the whole DC aspect of this, there's a very interesting story being told, and the idea of the Joker, I thought was interesting. But again, if you love Joker and you love DC, it just breaks it, and I understand that. But in terms of this relationship, and also the relationship that Joker has with the outside world, in terms of contrasting with the first movie, Joker he's a loner, he's invisible. In this one, everyone knows who the Joker is, and here's a guy who was once invisible, now has visibility, is this leader of a movement, and that I found interesting how it played out. But again, it's a Joker movie, and I understand that's not a Joker story, and so I say it. I like it. I like interesting stories. I like interesting ways to show people, character growth, relationships, big pictures. I liked it if you remove the fact that it was a Joker Harley Quinn movie.
Look, I think that the first movie really tapped into the zeitgeist of how disaffected people, mental illness, class disparity. It had some important things to say that people responded to and tapped in. And this movie does none of those things. It doesn't comment on it. It could so have done a great job commenting on current political climate in a broad sense. And I think that first movie really was tapped into the zeitgeist. And this misses the mark and almost purposely avoids making any commentary at all. It's just they meet in this facility, Harley and Arthur Fleck. They become romantically entangled. There is a sex scene, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
done, I guess you could call it that.
I mean, it's a very
having sex,
superhero sex scene. But I have to disagree with you. I think it has something to say. it's and in terms of the political climate today, it is about charisma. It's about a guy who didn't have it now suddenly having it thrust upon him, and then how he uses that, how that how his say, I want to get out of spoilers, but it is about a guy who again was a nobody and now is a somebody, and he's a leader of this movement, and how does he handle that?
Right.
That's what I thought this was going to be like. Okay, he's a leader of this movement, like this kind of like a nihilism kind of movement where it's just like down with everything, destroy everything. And then what happens when he finds love? Like how does that change him? And I was interested in exploring that aspect of the character. I was like, okay, you got this nihilistic movement where they're just kind of like burn everything, destroy everything. This guy is the centerpiece of that. And now he's found something to live for, So, okay, how does this change? And I just didn't get that story. And again, I came in with no expectations, by the way. I just figured that's where they would be going with it, because like, why else would they be making this movie? And they didn't really do that at all. I felt like that was a if you can find that thread of the story in this, it's poorly executed. And so it just comes back to the fact there's no real reason for this story or this part of this film to exist if it's not telling a story like that.
Well, it's not a Joker story. That's what I'll say, because I don't want I don't want to get into spoilers as to how I think this happens, but it is very telling in the story. But it's a Joker story, and it's not a Joker story. That's the problem.
When you say it's a Joker story, is it because it's misdirecting?
It has Joker and Harley Quinn in it.
Well, but also it's because he's like always about the misdirection, misleading you into what's really going on. Like you remember that from The Dark Knight, where he had like multiple stories of how he got his scars.
Yeah, but that's not the Joker story. Yeah,
that's not what you're saying. No, but I'm saying when you say it's a quote unquote Joker story, I thought that I'm thinking you're going deeper. I'm thinking you're talking about it on a deeper level. My bad.
It's a Joker story because it's
got the Joker in it.
It's in the title.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, again, it breaks lore. This is not a Joker story. There's kind of an allusion to it at the end of that idea of different stories, which again I won't say until we get into spoilers. But it's a poorly executed Joker story. But as a remove the Joker, make it a musical, a tragic musical. I dug it in the second half.
Let's go to some comments and supers, and then we'll do spoilers.
Yeah, I have the supers. If
yeah, BMO better. Is there a popcorn bucket? No, but there should be.
Yeah, there should be.
I want there to be a popcorn bucket. Can you read the supers that are on YouTube, because I can't get them on StreamYard?
Yeah, I mean, I'll read it off of. Let me just make sure.
Just read it off the.
Okay.
Chat.
So, Caveat Ties, member for 2 months. The Marvels should have been a full musical for Alan. The Marvels was only a 10-minute musical, and it was a bad musical at that.
It was bad. Patch Lemire for 199 says, worse, Megalopolis or Joker 2? I'd say Megalopolis is worse.
Gosh.
What is the worst movie? Megalopolis, hands down. I'm sorry. As much as I have problems with Joker 2, a lot of problems, to the point where I don't think I can recommend it. Megalopolis is worse.
I think I'm more likely to see Joker 2 again than I would Megalopolis.
Yeah.
Okay. Dark Sith 87 for 10. Literally character assassinated the Joker only to transfer the crazy onto Harley. Focus 3 times on a random character that was the titular character all along. Disappointed, doesn't begin to describe, and then it kind of ends from there.
Yep.
Like I said, the audience that we saw it with, DA and I and Dante, just no applause. No
just
applause.
Got up and left. Just
no
got
reaction.
Up and left.
People were like, "Well, that's it."
So they missed the end credit scene.
There is no end credit.
I know.
There's no end credit scene, people.
So the best, I'll say this, the best scene in the movie, I think, was or I feel was Mr. Puddles.
Yes, Mr. Puddles was awesome. Let's
Yeah,
get
that was
into
funny.
spoilers.
That was funny.
Oh,
yeah.
hey, one more super chat here.
Sure.
Mega YouTube 99 for 199. Joker speaking like a black man in the trial scene. So look, people are doing black sense like crazy nowadays. So I wasn't bothered by it.
Mr. Puddles. By the way, I was told by somebody in an interview recently, they interviewed Todd Phillips, said that he had a script for this whole thing, but they'd get on set and Joaquin Phoenix would say, let's decide what we're filming here. They'd have a 3-hour conversation about what they were really going to film for that day. It sounds like Joaquin Phoenix got a big head after his Oscar and just determined what this movie was going to be. And that's never a good sign. When the actors take over and their egos take over, that's a bad sign. We're not going to do heavy spoilers.
Yeah.
But we'll get into some of them now. So I got the spoiler warning. Now we can discuss.
Okay.
Go ahead, Alan. What were you going to say?
What was I going to say? The lead up. To me, it was about talk. Let me get my thoughts together and then I'll tell you.
Well, look, I just felt the film had no momentum whatsoever. It becomes a courtroom drama mixed with these fantasy sequences. Lady Gaga is fine. She is fine. She's not really Harley Quinn. You know, she is in this facility because she burned down a building. So
yeah, but then you have the unreliable narrator from her, because then somebody comes along and says, well, you know, she put herself in here. She really wasn't crazy.
Right.
She kind of put herself in here, and it was kind of like, why is she able to get access to Arthur Fleck so easily? Like, she's just wandering around in the cells and moving here, there, and there. Oh, they let me back here. Like, why? Who are you? Like, why would they let and they say she's a doctor. She took some med classes. Her father's a famous doctor. So I was like, okay, maybe that's the way they explain it away. But that part of the plot was just kind of throwing me all the time. Every time she got somewhere where I thought, like, why would you allow this woman to get back in this part of the building with a crazy man? And then the guy's like, no touching. And they're just like,
I'll tell you
why did you let her back here? Like, who is she? She's not a lawyer.
It's a musical. Of course, these things can happen.
Well, I will say I did like the Looney Tunes opening cartoon.
I didn't like it.
You know, no,
I thought that was fun.
And I like the idea that where there was a TV movie made about Arthur Fleck.
I did. I like that part too.
We did not see it though. I would have liked to have seen a clip.
Okay. Okay. So let me tell you what I think is the broad picture here.
Right.
It's the idea of imposter syndrome. Because at this point, Joker is the leader of a movement, but a reluctant leader of a movement. He has followers who don't really know him. All they know of him are his actions. And it really isn't until the end where he basically everyone sees him as this alpha leader, but then at the end he becomes this beta leader, and no one wants to follow a beta. And to me, that's kind of this idea of, we have leaders out there who look good, who say the right things, but deep down they're insecure cowards. And to me, that's what I got out of it, and that's how the ending and all the events of the ending are explained and why they're there. That's what I got out of this movie. And again, that's not a Joker story, so I get it. It's not a Joker story.
Yeah, Joker's a different type of character than that. And that really let me down, man. The entire ending was the worst part of this entire thing. From the point when he breaks her, or they blow him up, they get him out of jail, and then finally when he's talking to Harley Quinn on the stairs, on the famous steps, and that speech, and then the subsequent return to prison, and then that ending was just, I like I said, people were like it's like somebody blew right past me. He couldn't wait to get out of the theater after the credits started rolling. He knocked me in the knee. I was like, all right, man, I know it's a bad movie, but he shot out of there like a bee. Like he could not wait to get the hell out of the theaters. And I kind of felt the same way because I was like, how did you do this to this character? This was such a great character in the first movie. Such a great character in the first movie. And I mean, Todd Phillips, Joaquin Phoenix, whoever, you absolutely ruined. I wish I had known that this movie was this bad because, again, I love that original Arthur Fleck, and I would not want to like see him done this way. You know, just destroyed the character, in my opinion.
Dante.
What's up, Dante?
From
What's happening, gents?
Yeah, just joining us. Give us your impressions, Dante.
I'm really mixed on this movie, man. I didn't hate it as much as some of you guys did, but at the same time, I despise the ending. I thought leading up to the end, I thought the acting was great. I thought everyone did a good job of acting. The problem wasn't the performances, well, the singing sometimes, but but the acting was good, and that's why I'm torn because the performances were good, but the story, and even the story, I was rocking with it. I was cool with it up until the third act.
Yeah,
and then
it's when Joker turns beta, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was telling Derek when we left the theater, I would have preferred if I would have hoped that towards the end they would have went all in on him just becoming the Joker, right? Yeah. No more Arthur Fleck. He's just a Joker.
Embrace it.
They went in his weird beta route that, and it's funny because you see the people in the jury, I mean the audience of the court leave because they're so disappointed in him, and I felt like that's the audience in the theater watching, wanting to leave, when he gave that stupid speech at the end. Yeah, I'm disappointed because I wanted this movie to be great.
Yeah, I get what you're saying there, and I definitely felt that same way. It was like when Joker turns beta, it was like, well, this is not really a Joker story now.
Yeah,
and that was disappointing at that point. And ironically, that's when the music ended. That's when the singing ended. So,
well, I mean, Derek made a good point too when he made the comparison of how Todd Phillips didn't want this Joker to be likable in the same way that the first Joker was likable. And likable in a way of people, not that they related to him, but they thought he was a good character. I think Todd Phillips freaked out the same way Eric Kripke freaked out with The Boys, right? Yep. And Eric Kripke found out that people liked Homelander, so all of a sudden he wanted to make Homelander as goofy as possible and as Trump-like as possible in its current season. And I felt like Todd Phillips did the same thing with the Joker. He didn't want people liking the Joker, so he gave us this limp finale.
Good way of putting it. Yeah. And again, like when you have a character that I guess certain people like, the quote unquote toxic fans or whatever you want to call them, and people like these characters. I don't know what it is in Hollywood, but I don't know if they feel threatened by that or if they feel like, well, we don't like this character, so why do you like this character? You shouldn't like this. And I'm like, well, you made a character that was actually interesting. You gave him interesting, an interesting look at the world, morality wise, and the Joker just, in my opinion, that first Joker, it was such an interesting character because of how he was treated, how he was browbeaten down into submission. His parents, nobody in the world loved him. And he found his way out of that. He climbed out of that. And yes, did he murder some people? Sure he did, but he found his way out of that and he became a, mini celebrity. And I was like, okay, that's his villain origin story. Okay, cool. Now he's full-fledged villain. And I think what we were talking about, Dante, they should have just said, okay, now here's the dilemma, because I was saying earlier before you came on that, I thought this story was going to be, okay, this guy who is this villainous character, he's nihilistic, he doesn't give a damn, and now he's found love. He's found something to live for. What is he going to do? And I would have loved it if he said, yeah, I'm doubling down. I'm going right into being the Joker. I'm going to double and triple down. I am no longer Arthur Fleck. I am the Joker. and let that be his, now we're furthering his origin story, says, yeah, when he was tested and he had somebody to, that loved him, and he was going to go, he was planning on running away with her or whatever. But he said, nope, you know what? This is who I am deep down. And so I thought that would have been a great ending, and they didn't do that at all. So yeah, I think that was the major issue that I had. Just a terrible way to present this character from movie 1 to movie 2. The second movie just destroyed a great character, in my opinion. Kind of seeing that a lot lately, aren't we? They do a sequel and they destroy what we loved from the original because they don't understand it, or they hate the fact that we liked the original. It's just ridiculous.
If what was in that article is true, this makes a lot of sense. This happens when actors get an inflated view of their contribution to something. Because I think great films are very collaborative. And this, it sounds like Joaquin Phoenix kind of took over the movie and tried to change it while they were making it, because some of it was just so dumb with him. And the Mr. Puddle scene, yes, was funny, but it just dragged. Even the good stuff in the movie dragged. So
I just feel like whatever they were hoping for box office wise, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I think this movie's going to get so much bad word of mouth that they're not going to make their money back on this.
It's tracking poorly. Plus, by the way, the budget for this 4 times the original. The original was $50 million. That's a low budget on studio level. This was 200.
Yeah, they're not going to make that back.
Not even close.
Yeah, I don't see this performing or sustaining.
I just feel like it was a waste of everybody's talents, right? I mean, Lady Gaga was definitely wasted in this. I've seen her do better than this, acting wise, performing wise. I think she could have been better. I really can't complain about Joaquin Phoenix. I think he did a great job of acting.
Yeah.
I think he killed it, to be honest with you. I just think that this movie didn't serve him.
Alan, you were about to say. You're muted. You're muted. You're muted.
Am I? Okay. Wait, am I muted now?
No.
No, you're good.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, first of all, musicals don't have broad appeal. This is
You're right.
This is very much a musical. It's a very dark musical, which doesn't have broad appeal. And now you're linking it to the DC universe, and a musical in a DC universe won't have broad appeal. And I don't think you even get theater kids to like this one. You've really got to work at wanting to like it, and I think I had to do that. It touched a sweet nerve on my part, but I can recognize it's a very weak film overall, especially that first half, and it's not going to do. I can see it not doing well at all.
You know what? I don't even think the musical aspects of this are bad. I don't think that's the thing that's going to turn people away. I think it's the story and the way they handled the characters, and just ultimately where this thing leads and where it ends up. I think that's where it's going to fall apart. The first movie, you're talking about a sequel to $1 billion movie. There's no reason to expect this thing to do terrible in the box office. And there's going to have a lot of interest. People are going to come and check it out, but people are going to come away from this saying, they gave us nothing of the original that we loved. What from the original did they give us from in this film that we really loved from the original? Nothing. That's the problem. The musical could have made this movie even better, but they did nothing in the storytelling and the character development to make us, say, hey, I'm loving what they're doing with these characters and I'm all in. They didn't give us that. And that's the problem. The problem is not the music. The music, fine. I was like, hey, whatever, Now, I thought that there were some points in time where it's like, all right, God, another song. All right. There was like a groan from the audience at certain points where it's like, man, are we really singing again? Like, can we stop the singing? Because again, none of it was leading anywhere. It was just songs for the sake of songs. And it's just kind of like, all right, that's it. You know, I'm already checked out from it. But I don't think that was the worst part of the movie or the thing that's going to drag this movie down. I think it's literally the story that they're telling with these characters. I think that's where this thing is falling apart.
I think there were one too many songs though.
Yeah. There were a couple.
Sure.
Oh my God.
Again, that running time north of 2 hours, you had
220. 220.
It's 2 hours and 20 minutes. It could have easily been cut to 2 hours. Easily.
Yeah.
I don't think that would have made a difference though. You know, in terms of musicals, I mean, I did like it, but they were basically songs. They were singing songs. Musicals, you expect you expect something grander. It's just basically Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix singing. So it's two people. Occasionally they'll have a band accompaniment.
Were there any original songs in it? Did anybody write any original
during the credits? So that's the Oscar song, the song in the credits. But in the movie itself, it's all
greatest hits,
basically. Yeah.
I thought that was a missed opportunity. Like write some songs that have to do with what's going on in the movie and build from there. But they just kind of found songs that that everybody knows, and it's like, oh yeah, I know that song, but yeah, I think it's just a bad conceived idea, poorly executed, waste of time for everybody. Everybody wasted their time. You're going to waste your time if you watch it. I'm telling you, don't watch this movie if you like the first movie, because you'll be wasting your time. That's my opinion.
I think it was especially hard coming off of, how great the Penguin is, right? It's like we have the Penguin, and then we go into this movie, and it's like we have this great version of Gotham, and then we have the Joker. So
and Aid Ellis pointed out that Phoenix got paid $20 million for this, and Lady Gaga $12 million, which is basically nearly the budget of the first movie. So kind of crazy.
Okay, so I'm looking at the YouTube chat, and it's not doing well. I don't think a single person here likes it.
So this was by the way, to be clear, this was a fan screening, right? Early access. The Monday before it opens Friday. Do you know when the press screening for this is? Wednesday.
Wow.
Did we get invited?
I got invited to the press screening on Wednesday, which is after the fan screening. What does that tell you? Not good.
Even the studio fans get ahead of us.
The studio does not have confidence in this movie.
Oh no, they shouldn't. There's no reason to. They did not do a good job with this. And
the thing is, I wasn't disappointed because I kind of knew we didn't need this film. So I was like, I wasn't disappointed because I had no expectation. It's like,
I walked in with low expectations too, Chris. I walked in with very low expectations, and it still didn't deliver. Even on my low expectations, I still come on, guys, really? Like I said, when I saw Joaquin Phoenix back up there as Arthur Fleck, and then they kept showing flashbacks from the first Joker. They would show a couple of scenes here and there. They were flashing back to the original Joker movie. I was like, I want to go back and watch that movie. I want to watch the original Joker. It made me want to go. I'm probably going to throw it on right now after we get done with this, because I like that movie. I really love that movie, man. That is one of my favorite movies, from a comic book perspective. One of my favorites, man. I love it. I love that. I love the Gotham in the Joker, and I love how Arthur Fleck is played. I just love that movie. And then I got this, and I'm like, God.
Yeah, they even showed a little bit of the scene, in the bathroom where he kind of becomes Joker.
Right.
He started doing that. That is so great. The first movie has so many great moments. And this just, it fell flat. The whole movie felt like no energy, no momentum, not building toward anything. It also felt claustrophobic. It takes place in prison and then in a courtroom. The other movie is all over the place, all over Gotham, subways, everywhere. We got a sense of world building. This was not, Didn't have
Yeah,
that.
they went to the Arkham Mental Hospital, like the whole situation with his mother, and then he's down fighting in the alleys with these, bullies, and he's on the subway, and then he's in his own apartment, and then there's the whole Zazie Beetz thing. Like the Zazie Beetz thing, living in his own mind and I was kind of interested in that too. Like, okay, they brought Zazie Beetz back in this film, and she had her moment in the courtroom. And it was like, okay, that was an interesting, and it kind of, what she experienced and everything. I actually liked that part of the film as well with this one. But it just reminded you of a much better movie. Like everything that was happening just reminded me, like, I actually want to go watch the good movie. I don't know what this trash is, but I want to go watch the actual good movie that was made with these characters, because that was a great movie, and sadly, Lady Gaga really didn't add anything to the mix. She was just kind of there. She could have been a great Harley Quinn. But I don't think they really knew what they were doing.
Did you notice they had her sing bad at the beginning of the movie and then progressively get better over time?
Intentional, I guess. Yeah,
I think it was intentional. I can't imagine it was the songs that was doing it.
Yeah. Well, look, we're going to talk about this movie later this week and on Versus a week from today. Let's so I don't want to go too deep. This is early reaction.
Yeah.
Final thoughts before we sign off.
I do have 2 more super chats.
Oh yeah, sorry, get to those.
Okay. Let's see. Babo Yogi for 2, F Mary Kill, Joker 2, Sweeney Todd, and Sound of Music.
Go ahead, Alan. Answer.
Yeah, Alan, you're good at
All
the
right.
musical guy, music man.
You.
Okay, so being the good Christian that I am, I will kill the Joker 2, F Sweeney Todd, and marry Sound of Music, because it's I get to raise children in that game. All right, you guys gonna do it?
No.
I'm gonna copy off of your paper. I'm gonna copy your answers.
Okay, second one, Day Trippers for 50 ARS. From 1 to 10, how many Batman Crocs do you give the movie?
That's a very good question.
Because I'm going to lower my score to 6 now that we've talked about it a bit and I've had time to think about it.
Yeah. How many Batman Crocs does everyone give this? I probably a 5 out of 10.
I say 5. Yeah.
Yeah, 5. Not recommended, and a 5. Where are you?
Yeah,
DA?
that'll be three Crocs for me, man. 3 Crocs. It's 3 Crocs. It's a crock of crap. That's what it is.
3 Crocs. All right. Wow. Alan lowered to 6. The more I think about it, the less I like it.
Yeah, I'm trying not to think about it too much, because
Are you going to go back and watch it? That's the real test.
I will
go back and watch this.
I will go back, but I'll probably be like 45 minutes late.
it becomes a worse film the more you think about it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
What a disappointment. Well, so we're apologies. The YouTube chat is not working on StreamYard. I don't know why.
Yeah, but YouTube loves Sweeney Todd. That's what I'm gleaning so far. I think they say it's worse than Madam Web.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I would go watch Madam Web again before I would watch this.
Yeah, at least Madam Web was fun and had Sydney Sweeney.
I know this is very dark. They took happy songs and made them dark. I think that's one of the issues people will have with it. Yeah. One of the musicals, theater kid issues, I think.
Look, man, Madam Web is good bad.
Good. There is such a thing as good bad, and that was it. It was. I mean, I was just howling at the end because it's so ridiculous. I mean, some of the stuff that happens is so stupid. So there you go. All right. We're going to cut this short because we will be talking about this movie all this week and on Versus next week. So I want to thank Dante from Verbal Riot Show, the DA, Derek Anderson, Alan for driving. Like, where'd you drive from? All the way
from Palos Verdes, yeah.
Nice. And there will be links to them. And hey, they're friends of the show, Verbal and DA. So sub to them. Thank you, everyone, also who tuned in to watch this early reaction. I will say we should maybe check in on X, because there are a lot of people on X talking about it. Here, I looked up the hashtag. Here it is. Gary from Neurotic. If you were wondering if Joker needed a sequel, it didn't. That's his review.
It really didn't, man.
Joker 2 was absolutely effing incredible. His performance was mesmerizing. There you go.
Oh, you want me to read a comment from a certain YouTuber that that we were talking about earlier today?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, here we go. In capital letters, Todd Phillips, you are a towering directorial talent.
That's it.
That's his quick. Then
it sounds like, to be fair, it's mixed.
I think it's more negative than.
Here's one. Joker is a mixed bag for me. I was fully immersed in the musical numbers and the relationship between Joker and Lee. The film's visuals and score was so well crafted, especially during musical moments. Retreads the same themes and messaging as the first film. At times feels waste of a sequel, and the ending left me feeling cuckoo. Yeah, the ending sucks.
Yeah, you have to nail these movies. You can't let people walk away mixed, because you're just not going to get the repeat business you want.
And was the I guess this is Lady Gaga at the premiere in her I don't know what that is. All right.
It was designed by GLAAD, the trash bag and the organization.
Yeah, there you go. So, all right, we are going to leave it there. We will be back on Wednesday for Hollywood on the Rocks, and on Friday for our normal show, reviewing other movies in theaters. Dante, EA, thank you so much for joining us. Alan, I like your new hair. I love it. It's great. And thank you to everyone in the chat who left a super chat. Thank you for that. We will talk to you later this week when I am more rested. I got to be honest. I was getting a little bored there where I was like maybe falling asleep.
Oh, I drifted off more than once. I drifted off. I didn't go to sleep. I didn't sleep. I didn't go full out, but I drifted off like, man, what's going on? I was drifting. It was bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, all right. So, yeah. And Alan, did I forget anything?
Let's see. We have yet to talk about Comic-Con, but
LA Comic-Con is this weekend.
Yeah.
We'll be there. Wait, where are you, Dante?
Under the croc.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you later this week, and we will be all of us but DA. Dante and I and Alan will be at LA Comic-Con this weekend. We are not doing a panel. We're not.
That sucks, man. That sucks.
It is what it is. So
But we'll be floating around.
We'll be floating around. Yeah. So all right, take care, everybody. Later. Alan?
Let's get out of here.